510,810 people. They control $59.8 trillion. That is double the entire United States economy. And every single one of them, without exception, follows the same three-step system. Nobody teaches this. Today, we decode it. According to Altrada, UHNW individuals make up just 1.1% of all millionaires globally, but they control 32.4% of that group's total wealth. Think about that. 1.1% of millionaires, 32.4% of the capital. That is the definition of disproportionate influence. A tiny fraction of the population controls nearly 1/3 of all investable capital, which lets them move markets and reshape entire industries to fit their objectives. This disparity is not an accident. It is the result of a replicable strategy. Step 1. This is not about working hard, not about being smarter, not about innovation in the way you might think. It is purely about strategic positioning. The cold science of being in the right place at the right time, way before anyone else even knows is the right place. It is about finding a sector that is about to scale exponentially and putting yourself directly in its path. And here is the core principle, and it is brutal. Wealth is not created from nothing. It is captured. The biggest fortunes are seized during short, violent periods of exponential scaling. Think of it like a river of value. Most people dip a bucket in. The ultra-wealthy build a dam. They position themselves to capture the entire flow. CEO World Magazine data shows exactly where this capture happens most efficiently. Look at the two dominant sectors. Technology, with a collective net worth of $5.2 trillion among billionaires. Finance and investments at $3.5 trillion. Why these two? Because they are built on pure scalability and leverage. A software platform costs almost nothing to serve one more customer. A financial instrument can use a small amount of capital to control a massive amount of assets. These are systems designed for exponential capture. The data shows two main entry points for this kind of positioning. First, the founder path, the Bezos or Musk route, building a new capture system from the ground up. But then there is a second path, which is becoming more and more common. The hired hand. CEO World Magazine identified 48 CEO billionaires in 2025. These are operators like Satya Nadella. He did not start Microsoft, but he positioned himself at the top of an existing, powerful system and aimed it at the next big wave. In his case, artificial intelligence. Both are pure positioning plays. This forces a critical question. If timing is the variable, what is the constant? The constant is access to a sector before it becomes common knowledge. Step 2. Once that wealth is captured, it cannot simply sit there. Static capital dies. It must be converted into a dynamic structure. This is what we call asset architecture, designing a system that makes wealth grow on its own. It is about taking the initial win and building a self-compounding machine. And here is the crucial point. The goal is not a large bank account. The goal is to turn capital into an engine for perpetual acquisition. The wealth itself becomes a machine that actively hunts for and buys more income-producing assets. It is an active, almost predatory process designed to take human emotion and manual work completely out of the growth equation. Here is how that machine works. Follow the flow. It starts with the initial capital from step 1. That money immediately goes into buying private and alternative assets, which offer higher growth potential than anything available in public markets. Then the portfolio is spread globally to reduce risk. And this is the critical part. Those holdings are then used as collateral to borrow more capital at low rates. That new capital is then redeployed right back into the top of the loop to buy even more assets. It is a closed system of acquisition and leverage. Notice how small the slice for public stocks is in UHNW portfolios. Why? Because public markets are too efficient, too transparent. The real edge is in private holdings, where you have total control, asymmetrical information, and access to deals that never appear on any exchange. It is in alternative assets, art, sports teams, private real estate, that do not follow the market. and it is aggressively global. CEO World Data reports that 75% of the ultra-wealthy diversify their holdings across international borders. This is not just a portfolio. This is a global acquisition infrastructure. 2 data points before we move to step 3. First, according to CEO World Magazine, 74% of UHNW individuals are now deploying artificial intelligence in their portfolio decisions. This is not a tool. This is an arms race for analytical edge. Second, this group allocates $45 billion annually to assets like fine art and luxury hospitality. These are not hobbies. They are sophisticated, portable, and often unregulated asset classes, completely invisible to standard market correlation. The structure is engineered for one purpose: perpetual acquisition. Step 3, and frankly, the most critical one. The first 2 steps build wealth. This step protects it and multiplies it. This is the ecosystem. It is where your network stops being a social tool and becomes a piece of private economic infrastructure. It is the moat around the castle. Start with this number from CEO World Magazine. 18%. That is the share of all billionaire wealth directly tied to monopoly power or strategic industry consolidation. That level of market control does not just happen. It is engineered, and it is not engineered alone. It is built through strategic alliances. The wealth is not just earned. It is defended and multiplied by navigating a very closed ecosystem. What does this network actually look like? Altrada gives us the number. The average UHNW individual has direct connections to at least 70 other UHNW individuals. 70 high-trust relationships, each with a net worth over $30 million. This is not networking. This is private infrastructure, built through board memberships, co-investments, and access to circles that are completely opaque to anyone on the outside. A single introduction from the right person functions as an extreme filter. It surfaces the opportunity. It reduces risk to near zero. It bypasses years of conventional effort. The system protects and multiplies itself through its interconnected nodes. We have decoded the 3 steps. Let us distill this to its core principles. Remember, this is not inspiration. This is mechanics. Step 1, positioning. The principle: exploit information asymmetry. Get into a sector before everyone else does. Step 2, architecture. The principle: automation and leverage. Turn static capital into a self-compounding machine. Step 3, ecosystem. The principle: collective advantage. Use a closed, high-trust network as your own private infrastructure. The final takeaway is this: the system is not about being smarter. It is not about working harder. It is about understanding the cold mechanics of how wealth is captured, structured, and protected at the highest levels. The machine exists. Now you know how it runs. Which step are you on? Comment 1, 2, or 3.